I believe that sewage and wastewater treatment in the CRD must remain in public hands. The issue we are facing is only one small part of a much larger problem, that of the misuse and commercialization of clean, fresh water. Currently, wastewater is viewed as a commodity that can be bought and sold. Water itself is not recognized by the United Nations or by the World Bank and other multinational funding organizations as a human right, but rather as a human need that can just as easily be provided, or not, by private companies as by governments. To me, a human need should be a human right. Without water, a person will die in a matter of days, yet it is perfectly legal to withhold water if that person cannot pay for it. Throughout the Third World and the Global South, governments applying for monetary aid are being given two options: give over control of water treatment and provision to northern multinational private companies and receive aid money, or keep water public and be denied the aid they so desperately need. The major world bodies responsible for influencing and creating water policy and for educating governments and organizations on the issue are in large part made up of private companies and promote their private interests aggressively. The World Bank, the WTO, the World Business Council for Sustainable Development, the Global Water Partnership, the World Water Council. Even the United Nations has fallen under the spell of corporate multinationals and has stated that water is an economic good and should be treated as such. These organizations determine how governments all over the world decide their water policies and educate government officials on the best actions to take, actions that will benefit these private companies. Here in BC, the manipulation isn't quite as obvious, but it is carried out in large part by the government itself. Although the CRD website and the brochures distributed at the open houses state that the provincial government will provide funding whether or not we decide to go with the P3 option, the necessity of seriously considering P3s, whatever public opinion is, was legislated by the provincial government. And when Whistler decided that despite this, and despite their council's decision to privatize, they would far rather go with a public option, excuse me, the provincial government removed the right to force a referendum by petition, the tool that Whistler citizens had to use to make their voices heard. In Britain, the complete privatization of water provision has led to those who couldn't afford to pay for their water, having their water, and I mean all water, not just sewage, shut off. It does happen, and not just in third world countries. The world is running out of fresh water. This isn't just a myth or an environmentalist scare tactic. Many US states have to import at least some of their drinking water. Arizona at this point has to import all of its drinking water, and California will be in the same position within about 10 years or so. Excuse me. As soon as private companies enter the picture, openness and accountability go out the window. Witness the 6 procurement options presented at the recent public open houses. 6 options labeled with confusing, unnecessary, and inconsistent acronyms, accompanied by a complete lack of tangible information on what each one means in terms of actual ownership or operation. Yes, it sounds good that ownership and control of assets remain in government hands no matter what, but what does that actually mean? We own the buildings that private companies use to make a profit on our waste from our pocket. We will certainly not own that profit. Is it not far better that that profit comes back to us in the community and goes towards improving our community? Is it not far better that we actually have a say in the way that these plants are run and the services they provide? I also question the presentation of these options as hybrids between public and private models, when the final private model offered is a P3, which was supposed to be the compromise in the first place. As the need for clean, fresh water increases, keeping control of our water in our hands is becoming more and more vital. As clean water gets scarcer, the line between wastewater and water will get thinner and thinner. The CRD waste management plan itself includes a provision for water reuse, stating that wastewater can be treated to the point of being potable. Please don't bow to the pressure placed on us by private companies looking for a profit. Please keep our water public. Thank you.